Hey guys, this is Dave Trevor. Welcome. This is Singing Tips 19. This is the chest voice. So Singing Tips 19, the chest voice. Let's get started. I got a new lighting system going on so you guys can see my lovely face. You guys probably noticed that I didn't shave, but I don't care. I'm trying to grow a beard, see if it works. Doesn't matter. What we're talking about is singing. We're not talking about my sweet, sweet beard. Okay, so getting right into it. First, I want to define a couple things. First thing I'm going to define is the mixed voice. The mixed voice I talked about in the last lesson. You can see it in the box up here. And with the mixed voice, you have to remember it's a transition between the chest and the head voice. And it's trying to utilize it and make it all sound like one unified sound. So there you have it. And so that's what the mixed voice is. Then you have the head voice. And the head voice, I'm going to be doing a lesson next week all on the head voice, but a quick definition is the head voice is defined as one's register as far as singing goes, and it's one's higher register of singing with their particular range. Okay, guys? Simple stuff. Now, what primarily is the chest voice's purpose? Like, what's it used for? Well, the chest voice is used for singing the notes in one's register, in one's range, that they can't necessarily hit or necessarily hit all the time. So with that, what I mean is that you're trying to hit these lower notes that maybe you don't sing. Like if you're a soprano and you're trying to sing some alto notes, or if you're a tenor and you're trying to sing some baritone or some bass notes. That's what the chest voice is used for. It's used to make the sound richer, and it's used to hit these lower notes. Okay, guys? All right. So what sort of style does the chest voice, or do you hear with the chest voice? Well, the biggest one that I found out was legitimate musical theater. And legitimate musical theater is original musical theater. So you've got musicals like South Pacific. You've got musicals like Showboat. I'm not going to say too many more because my related videos will all come up musical theater stuff. Because I found out that even if you say stuff in the video, it starts relating things to the things that you say. So I could say Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber. And watch what happens, guys. This will be funny. Just a little experiment. So yeah, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber. We'll see what happens. This will be a hoot. Okay, legit musical theater, though. Here's an example of that. Showboat, there's a song called Old Man River. And it sounds like this when you're speaking, singing the note. Speak singing is where you're trying to sing that particular note, but you put a speaking type sound on it. I'm going to explain that more in depth in just a couple minutes. But it sounds like this. Here's musical theater. Old Man River, that old man river. Simple, right? I'll do it again one more time. Old Man River, that old man river. And you guys can tell I'm not necessarily a bass. I'm definitely not a bass, and I'm not really a baritone, but I'm able to hit those notes because I know how to speak, sing, and I know about my chest voice. And when you're using the chest voice, you're going to notice that you're utilizing this sound, and when you do it, it's going to have this sort of resonance. Quick definition too, resonance is defined as a vibration in the voice, and you're going to feel that vibration specifically right here in your chest. If you don't believe me, find someone who speaks really low and ask them to speak low, and you're going to hear it coming from the chest like this. Or find lower notes and sing them, and you will feel a vibration right here in the chest area. It's very obvious, and it's very simple, and you will feel that, okay? The next style is opera. Opera would sound like this. Let's see if I can do this. Opera would sound like this, and we'll do it again with Old Man River, because why not? So it would sound like this. Old man. Let's see here. Old man. Old. I'll have to go up a half step, but Old Man River, that old man river. So you hear the sound here. It sounds kind of muffled. It's got that real deep in the chest type sound. That is opera. So there you go. Last one that I really thought of, believe it or not, was rap. The point about rap is that these guys know how to utilize their chest voice because they give this really kind of type sound to it, like Busta Rhymes. Like, I can't do him, but for the sake of entertaining you guys, I'll just do it real quick. So he's like, so that guy Yeah, that was terrible. His particular sound is his chest voice. It's all his chest voice. But because he knows how to really utilize it, he can make different sounds and he can really, fluctuate his range and woo-ha, woo-ha, oh, and he can do all these different types of things because he understands the purpose of the chest voice and how to use the chest voice. Plus, he's also using his diaphragm. I'm going to probably go back and do a whole lesson on the diaphragm. Excuse me. Probably down the road here. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you guys want, there's also in the boxy box up here, you will find a lesson. I think it's like singing tips 2 or 3 or 4, but I give a demonstration of how to use your diaphragm. So there you go. Let's go if you guys are interested in that as well. Cool, just checking the time. Woo, need to shave my neck, don't I, guys? Yowza. Okay, moving right on. So yeah, in any sort of style that you're trying to sing these lower notes, you're going to have to speak into that note. So what is speak sing? Let's get right into that. Speaking singing is this idea of being able to speak the note, and because you're speaking that note, you put it on a tone, you put it on a particular note, and then you're able to, it's able to come out, even if it's not particularly your range. So just to show you what I mean, I'm going to use these different styles that I talked about earlier here, and I'm going to do it with a couple styles using row, row, row your boat, because that way I don't have to worry about copyright infringements. So, haha, yeah, here we go. So, normal tone, it would sound like this. Row, row, row your boat. Pretty simple, right? Now I'll do the normal tone without speak singing. Row, row, row your boat. Hear how it's like, it's whispery, it's kind of airy. So I'll do it again straight with it. Row, row, row your boat. Pretty cool, right? So then you'd have an opera sound would sound like this. Row, row, row your boat. Musical theater would sound like this. Row, row, row your boat. So pretty simple. Again, you're hitting those lower notes. You're trying to shoot for those lower notes. And you can do this with any sort of thing that you're trying to do. If the note's like, I could never get there. See? I could never get there. I could never get there. All I'm doing is speaking that note. That's all I'm doing. I put a lot of air behind it, but that's what you do. See, I don't speak that note, and I don't speak that low. But my point is, with Speak Sing, which is a class that I took in college, that's how you hit those lower notes. Okay, guys? Also, anytime that you can't hit these particular lower notes, if you speak sing into these notes, the chances of hitting these notes increase tremendously. I mean, I just gave you a perfect example. I don't really speak like this because it's uncomfortable. But if I use that and I'm doing it like that, and then all I do is put it on a tone with lots of air, notice I can hit these notes, even though my speaking voice is way up here. So there you guys go. I hope that helps a lot. And yeah, utilize that. That is the chest voice for you guys. Okay, we're going to get into the question of the week, and I wanted to leave some time because this was a pretty long one. So let's get right into this. This is from Baines NLNM, and his question was great. I'm going to paraphrase somebody said, because he wrote me an email, and it was like one of the best questions I've had in a long time. That's not to say the other questions weren't great too, but I really like this because this may be a concern that other people are having, especially when it comes to and regards pitch, staying on pitch, hearing yourself on pitch, and such and so forth. So here we go. So to paraphrase, he says, "There's one thing that's been on my mind since I began my quest towards learning to sing properly. Now, it's a bit confusing, but hopefully I can get to the point across without wasting too much of your time. From what I've learned, when people speak, they sound differently to themselves than they actually do. I'm going to try to get this next part slowly. So since people tend to hear themselves differently than they actually sound, what kind of impact does that have on a singer? For instance, when I'm singing, I can't help but feel that I'm off pitch. When I have various professional tuners, both vocal and guitar, lying in front of me, and when playing back my recording, the pitch seems to be pretty close to where it should be. Then when I, quote, feel what I hear ignoring the tuners playback like I'm singing perfectly on pitch, I tend to be flat by quite a lot. Is this something that a singer just adjusts to? I can't imagine singing being as enjoyable if I'm always going to feel like I'm off pitch just for the sake of the actual output of being on pitch. Yeah, no, I understand completely. I'm hoping this is just a question nobody really asks or answers, and there's nothing physically wrong with my hearing in some way. Hopefully I'm not tone deaf. I don't think you're tone deaf. Perhaps it's simply my singing technique. Did you ever experience this? I'd appreciate any help or tips that you have to offer, and I apologize if this was mentioned in one of your earlier videos I've overlooked. I was kind of practicing during most of them, LOL. Well, good. I'm glad you were practicing during these lessons, because that's the point, is to practice with these lessons. You know, pause, play, practice. Simple. I apologize for the lengthy message, but this has been eating me for a while now. Thank you for your time. You're welcome. I appreciate answering this, and thank you so much for the question. I really appreciate that on my end. So thanks again, Baines NLNM. I appreciate it. Here we go. So he wants to know about pitch, guys, and I do talk about pitch in the sidebar here. There's a singing tips called pitch, and I go all into it and talk more about it. But to further cap on what we're talking about here, pitch is one of these things where unless you put yourself in a position where you're around it a lot, you're never going to learn to sing on pitch. And for me, the biggest thing that I ran into was when I was in choir. When I was in choir, I was able to be in an acapella type setting, because with choir, you have to learn to sing without any tongue twister right there. You have to learn to sing without any sort of accompaniment, and that means there's no piano, that means there's no instruments, it's solid voice. And when you do this, when you put yourself in this sort of group setting, it allows you to really be critical and take a look at yourself and say, okay, I am not singing that note right. Why? Because the rest of the group is singing this, and I'm singing this, and teacher's playing this, and the sheet music even says this. That's the best way to do it. Put yourself in some sort of a cappella position or get in a choir, because when you're in that group setting, you're no longer focusing on just yourself. You're focusing on the group sound, and you can hear better because you can hear all these other different types of sounds, and you can say, oh, that guy's sharp after a while, or oh, that guy's flatter. Hey, that guy's really close, or wow, that guy's way off. And it's like that and everything in between, but you're only going to be able to figure that out if you actually do that and put yourself in that sort of position. The other thing I would say is that I did this as a trick before. Well, there's two things. The first is get a private vocal coach, because a private vocal coach will give you experience that is bar none to anything that you will get out there, even in a choir setting. And if you guys want, you can make me your vocal coach, because I don't mind being your vocal coach. And maybe, hey, maybe I am your vocal coach. Who knows? But maybe you're in my area, and maybe I can help you out. Whatever. Anyways, moving on. That was a shameless plug. I know I do those sometimes. What I wanted to say, though, about this was that the singing teacher gives you all sorts of exercises and things of that matter to do when you have stuff that's, you know, a cappella. And when it's a cappella, you learn how to be on pitch, and you learn how to be half a step up and half a step under and right on the note and that sort of thing. The other thing he taught me to do, and I was actually already doing this before I started taking private voice lessons, and I wish I would have done it more even when I was doing private voice, was he said, listen to singers or bands that you enjoy, listen to them for a little while, then turn it off and try to sing the notes that they were doing. And this is great because you guys can do this with your iPod, you can do it with your laptop, you can do it with your stereo, you can do it with whatever sort of musical device you do, and go back, and what you will find is that you're either on pitch or you're off pitch. And for me, for a long time, I was really, really, really off pitch. It took me a lot of years to really get perfect pitch. And the only way I was able to do it was through lots and lots of practice and lots of patience. And you have to be critical of yourself. You have to listen to the notes and say, oh, wow, I am not singing those right notes. And if you can be critical with yourself and say, okay, I'm not singing those correct notes, then you're all good. That's where you're going to go, and that's the best way to do it. Do I think you're tone deaf? No, you're not tone deaf. Is there something wrong with your technique? Nope, I don't think there's anything wrong with your technique either. But you need to have more experience in a position that gets you to work with your pitch. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks again. That's a great question. So the next lesson, we're going to be talking about the high territory, the head voice. What is it? Why is it important? Why the head voice and falsetto get confused, and much, much more. Also, as a real quick thing, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Truly Jara Lee. You can check out her channel right here. She's great because she does fashion, she does makeup, but the other thing she does is she does comedy. She's got some great parodies. She does a parody of Michelle Phan, and she has a really cool commercial, so check her out. So if you guys want, as always, go ahead and comment and thumbs up this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe. You got the big yellow button at the top, big yellow button at the bottom, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.